quite short into the process, I got this song from Fredrik, and I said, well, maybe I'll wait a bit with that one, and because I have to do the melodies first, the vocal melodies, and by that time I had no idea what the lyrics are going to be about. So I kind of waited with that one, and while I did the melodies, I mean, it felt good, but it didn't feel like the one Unleashed song that people are going to talk about. No way. So I started to write the lyrics, and that's actually the last one on the album that I kind of said to the guys in the band, "Do you like this? Otherwise, it won't be there." Because we all agree. We have to agree. We're four guys. We agree equally on every music, every detail, every lyric, every detail of the lyrics. And this is the one that I wasn't sure about because it's, like you just stated, it's a bit emotional.
Johnny, it's an absolute honor and privilege for me to talk to you today. The 15th album is coming at this point. Before we go into everything, how are you doing with such a milestone? Does that feel somewhat different than a 14th album? Help me understand how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've been thinking about that lately, mostly because people are reminding me. We've been doing this for, what is it now, 37 years, and it's like, like you said, 15 albums. The thing is that I haven't had like a car or a house or probably not even clothing that are that old. So it's well, maybe some Motorhead T-shirt or something that's been surviving for the past 37 years. But it's crazy. I mean, not even my guitar, which I'm pretty proud of. I mean, not even that one is that old. So yeah, we've been fortunate to be able to still be around after all those years, and it's a good feeling to have an album out that it seems that people are enjoying and they think we're on the right path. And so yeah, I should be so happy. Yeah.
There you go. Positivity all around. And so, now that we mentioned all of this, before we dive into the album and all the plans and the story and everything, you mentioned it, like this has been going on for quite a while. And what we don't always see with bands that have been around for such a long time is what an incredibly stable lineup this band has had. And that's not a given. That's not something that anybody should take for granted. I know you've spoken about this in the past a little bit about, agreements with the band and people having their own role, but do you find yourself reflecting on that success as well? Like, do you sometimes think about how did we make it work with a couple of guys in a band for such a long time, where many other bands, blow up in the most explosive way if they have the same people around for too long?
Yeah, I think that like you said, we probably take it a bit for granted these days because we're such a, it's such a smooth machine. I mean, we have, I mean, obviously, like all other bands, we've had our bumps in the road, but
of course,
there's just we take things, even though it might seem like a something that's planned since way back, we kind of take every new album as a new adventure. And every new show as something we look forward to. And again, we're just a couple of guys that are friends since a long time. We hang out also in private and we have a good time together. And I think that's probably very crucial, that you get along, even though that's a cliche thing to say, but it's inevitable to be able to really be good friends, because if you're not, and your things are not going well in that regard, then it's going to crash. I mean, obviously, it's the same if you're with a wife or whatever. I mean, it's if you're not good friends and you do things well together, and especially if you don't negotiate things together, then things will crash, because then there will be somebody in the band who says, well, I'm the king of this, and you have to do what I say, and blah blah. If it is like that, it's not a band; it's a one-man show.
Right.
And perhaps we've been really good at that, just negotiating our way forward, and making sure that we keep the friendship. I mean, that's That's really crucial, I would say.
Yeah,
Apart from
yeah,
all the other things I probably said in the past, and I
right.
think that's the most important thing, really.
All the truth from Eva's life. Maybe the end is drawing near. I haven't lost the will to live.
Very quickly, you said something that I found very interesting. You said, we just kind of take this thing one step at a time, even though it might look like it's all planned up
Yeah.
front. And I'm going to use that obviously as a segue to this album, which is a continuation of this massive story of the world, Odalheim. This is an epic Viking saga that you've been working on for a long time, both musically and not musically. So it does make a lot of sense that people might go like, oh, obviously the band decided over a decade ago to start working on this crazy story, and every new album is a new chapter. Walk me through how the band's decision to keep working on that world, how that comes around. Because I interview a bunch of bands, obviously, and when bands do concept albums, they either tell me that they really like it because it gives them direction and they kind of know where the music has to go because they know where the story is going to go. But there's an equal amount of bands that tell me like, I fucking hate it because it also kind of restricts me, and I can't just write Smoke on the Water all of a sudden, if you will.
Right.
What's that like for a band like you who's been building on this world for such a long time?
I would say even to this day, after I think it's the sixth album now, consecutively on the same storyline, it never felt like really a concept type of thing. I mean, it's obvious that it's all the songs are made from chapters, but from the book, but it's not really. You could take one of the songs or a full album if you like and pretend it's 2002 or 1994. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's still the Unleashed type of music, and it's still the Unleashed type of lyrics. It's just a very, well, let's say, lucky coincidence that the book that we made, we never finished it exactly, but I know where it starts and where it ends, and I knew a lot in between there that I could. There's of course a certain poetic freedom to that. I can change things along the road because nobody knows exactly what I've done. So that's cool. Yeah. But of course, I mean, it's we didn't really plan it either. I mean, we said let's try for one album, two albums, three albums. I guess we're still trying. We're just moving along with the storyline, and of course, the story doesn't end with Fire Upon Your Lands. It ends a bit further into the future. So. We'll see. I mean, it's just I've never. If I could pick a song from 3 albums ago, and anyone could listen to that song and say, "Oh, is this really a concept type of thing or a storyline?" It could be a song from 1997. I mean, it's not really. At least that's what we're aiming for. That you could actually look at one album and say, "Okay, Unleashed songs, good. I can hear that." But I probably would have written the same type of lyrics anyway. You know. But of course they wouldn't be in the form of a storyline. But they would deal with the same type of topic, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And concept albums or storyline albums, let's use that word. I like that word.
Yeah.
Storyline albums can be pure escapism or can provide escapism to people, but can just at the same time for a different audience be, well, that's a bunch of metaphor for stuff, for commentary on today's society and all that kind of good stuff. When you're writing, when you've written the book, you've turned chapters into songs, or does the thought behind the specific piece of the storyline, does the meaning behind that change for you? Like, are there songs that you've written that have also now included, for example, metaphors for commentary and other things that when you initially wrote about it, it wasn't necessarily meant that way?
Not really. I would say we have I have a pretty clear storyline from A to B. I mean, it's all in there. But of course, like I said, there is some poetic freedom to it. But I wouldn't say that there is anything that happens in the world today that that has any impact of what I wrote about in the chapters like 15 years ago. That's not at all that. It's if it sounds like that, then it's just a coincidence, because
Right.
the story is where it is right now. I mean, things happen for the Midgard Warriors and their fight against White Christ anyway, and because the story is a future story. And it's a matter of fact, I just before I started talking to you here, I just sent a mail like 10-15 minutes ago to the guy who does the next video, because we're talking constantly about how the video should look like, and because the thing is, it's Unleashed has always been about the Viking tradition, past, present, and future. Now, and if you look at the storyline of what I'm trying to do here in the storyline of the world of Odalheim, it's actually about the future. But then it's all about the Viking tradition and the defense against White Christ. So it is about the past, obviously.
Right.
And it is about today. And it will be about the future, because the entire book is about the future. So, that obviously affects, for example, what kind of weapons are you using in the storyline? Well, there are really not axes and spears. But you will probably see axes and spears in the lyrics. You will see axes, swords, and spears in the videos. But there will be a combination of the past, present, and future. But most of it's gonna. I need it to be about the future, because it is a post-apocalyptic world.
Right.
And I can't really. It can't really be about the exact, let's say, 1,000 years ago, when the Vikings attacked the shores of Britain. It just can't look like that, because that's not the future story. But it will have to have the tradition of that. So, long answer to a short question, but really this is what it's about. So it's not really that easy. I mean, it's got to have all of it, but it will be about the future, and also the video, for example, will have to look a little bit futuristic.
I dream of your death. War comes again.
Now, you're talking about spears and futuristic weapons and all that kind of good stuff, and there's a lot of action in this album. There's also emotion in this album. Take a song like "To My Only Son," for example, which is, I think, a song that a lot of people will stand out for. A lot of people on this album. For you, going into that, knowing that, okay, well, sure, this is a post-apocalyptic, futuristic Viking story, but there's also raw emotion in there. Like for you, when you then finally, after writing everything and coming up with the lyrics, when you finally get into let's record this, both from a music perspective, but also from vocal deliveries, how do you prep yourself for that, to bring that kind of raw emotion into a story like that will... I mean, when you say, we're talking about futuristic post-apocalyptic Vikings, maybe not everybody initially is going to go like, that resonates with me. But an emotional song like "To My Only Son," a lot of people are going to automatically click with that because of the emotion in a song like that. How do you prepare? Not how do you write a song like that, but how do you prepare to actually record it in a way that it comes out?
I was really that's actually a really good question, because that's exactly what I had to do. Not just when I wrote it, but when we actually prepared the recording, and I had to step into some kind of mode, because I had to place myself in let's say, in the dying position because the song is about a warrior who really wanted to get home after a long campaign, but he will never go home, because this is his last breath, and he knows he has maybe a minute left to live, maybe a few. So, and in the end of the song, he knows he's dying, and he writes the final words to his only son, who is obviously back in Swithjord, present day Sweden. Now they will never meet again, so he wants to bring him some last words. And when we recorded this, I had to, but I would say it's sometimes the same with many of the songs, but especially this one. I had to bring into some kind of mood where I actually felt that this could be me, and what if it was? How would I sound like? Where would I put the, let's say, pressure on some of the melody lines? How would I do that? I mean, the melody lines are already written. Like for this song, it was written like 10 months before I actually recorded it.
Right.
But I had to really think through what the exact melodies. I mean, because there are so many details in a melody that you would have to prepare in order for it to come out the way I anticipated it. And because otherwise it's just going to be, I can go in and do vocals like crazy. That's not a problem. I've been doing it for so many years. But like you said, this is a little bit of an emotional song, and perhaps not your usual song lyric on a death metal
Right.
album. But I felt that because it belongs to the story, like really belongs to the story, because the Midgard Warriors are out on a campaign, and like friends and families and everybody dies around them, and they don't just die, they die horribly.
Right.
And so it had its place in the album, I'd say. But for
Yeah.
sure, much preparation before I could like enter and do this very song. Compared to the others, a little bit more, I would say.
Yeah. It sounds like even after all these years, you can even surprise yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's fun because it's strange. I mean, before we recorded this album, actually before we created the album, I mean, before we started the process, quite short into the process, I got the song from Fredrik, and I said, well, maybe I'll wait a bit with that one, and because I have to do the melodies first, the vocal melodies, and by that time I had no idea what the lyrics are going to be about. So I kind of waited with that one, and while I did the melodies, I mean, it felt good, but it didn't feel like the one Unleashed song that people are going to talk about. No way. So I started to write the lyrics, and that's actually the last one on the album that I kind of said to the guys in the band, "Do you like this? Otherwise, it won't be there." Because we all agree. We have to agree. We're four guys. We agree equally on every music, every detail, every lyric, every detail of the lyrics. And this is the one that I wasn't sure about, because it's like you just stated. It's a bit emotional. I mean, it's not your everyday death metal lyric, I guess, but it has its place, and I'm really happy we did it, because somehow that's been like the most spoken of song on every interview and every person I've spoken to. So I'm really happy I didn't just because I was like this close to just no, this is for the book and not for the album. But
So does that experience where you were like, you know what, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And to your surprise, people, not only the band, but people like myself and everybody around you, is like, that stands out. Does that experience give you like, because you're already thinking about albums 16, 17, and 18. Does that mean that you will that you might allow yourself some more adventure or experimentation in that way in coming albums? Does that give you a little bit more confidence even after all these years?
maybe. Yeah, and the thing is, we didn't put a lyric like this. I mean, the song is not really. It could be. I mean, I could put any other lyrics to the song too.
Sure.
I guess that could have happened, but I never planned it for it to be this way, because I knew what the lyrics would be about. So it could have been in a different way, but about the same topic. But it could have been a lot less emotional. So and that was actually my what I had to weigh, so to speak. I had to weigh that against how deep can I do this, and will people really appreciate it? Because I mean, of course, I do things that I like, and I do things that my band members like, because in the process, we are four guys who listen to this, and nobody else, like really nobody else. So if I had to do something that would be, I had to put the lyrics and the melodies. So I don't want to work. I don't want to work with like hours upon hours with something, and just to get a big no from somebody in the band. So this was I wasn't really sure, and mostly because we've been around for so many years now, and we've been doing this together for like crazy long. So I pretty much know what they like and what they don't like. And it's the same with Fredrik when he sends me songs. He normally sends me like 13, 14, 15 songs, and he says, well, whatever 11, 12 songs you put lyrics on, these are the songs that will be on the album. So it's kind of easy for me. I just start working. And he knows I'm going to probably like all of the songs, probably, and you know, maybe one of them are a little too experimental or something like that. But this could have been one of those lyrics, really, that I would just change, like in the final details of it, and just do something different. But I'm happy I didn't, because it seems I haven't had. Well, actually, the first thing that happened, that's Fredrik. You know, he like sent me a mail and like, Johnny, you're not changing it. This is the best song on the album. I'm like, oh, really? You're not being kind now. Come on, you know. But he actually meant it, and I can see why. So,
Thor, give me the strength I need. Death will come eventually.
So, I mean, with all these albums that have come out about the source material that you know, the book that you've written, that has not been published yet, all the fans kind of probably feel like they've already read the book to some extent, because you know they've listened to so many songs. I mean, I could ask you a million more questions about everything that's going on and about all the shows. You've got lots of cool shows coming up. You're going to be extremely busy for the remainder of this year and 2026, because the shows are being announced. But what about the book? Like is that are there concrete plans around that now?
well, there are two answers to that. The first one is that the reason for why I actually do this, translated the chapters into songs, are just because me and my friend never got the time to finish it. And we realized that was too big of a project, and we were too damn busy doing life, you know, and that just, we couldn't really do it. That was just it. And I still don't think we will have time for that, because it's like, yeah, maybe if I just paused Unleashed for 4 years, and you know, then it would happen. But what I actually did was I actually finished another book during this time, which is a bit strange to be talking about, because it's not going to be published this year. But that one's actually finished. It's not about that, but it's about the same type of topic, like the Viking tradition topic and the Viking way of life, but more of the present day of life.
Well, Johnny, there's so much going on with the band, and it's cool to see that a band like Unleashed, unlike so many bands that have been around for almost 40 years, that have to, you know, trust to go back to those first 2-3 albums over and over again, that Unleashed is still growing, and people are always super excited about the new music. I can't wait to see you on a stage, and I'm sure that I'll have plenty of opportunities to do that in the next 18 months. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait for everybody to discover the album.
Thank you. It was great chatting with you, man.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it, and subscribe to the channel.